The Bamboo Project Podcast starts in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Bamboo Project Podcast. My name is DonivanGray, the future $10 billion man. On the way to 10 billion, I decided that I am going to help create 1,000 millionaires, including myself. And not by being a guru or selling a course, but by doing the things I already love to do every day and documenting my journey to get there. I figure I'll make all the mistakes so you don't have to. My name is DonivanGray, and this is how I'll turn my life into a living. We made videos for all the different things that we are into and our journey up to this point, and you can find all of those links in the description box below. This may be your first time here, and if it is, welcome to the family. But for everyone else, this is chapter 4, page 195. So I feel like it's been a minute since we have gotten to do the podcast, but today's date is Sunday, December 24th, so Christmas Eve. Happy to everybody. And it is 1:00 p.m. So before we get into the podcast, we always start off with screen time. We got one more podcast for the rest of the year. And I always say, if you aren't taking advantage of your phone, then your phone is for sure taking advantage of you. And you can't have that. All right, so let's see what my screen time was like last week. All right, so every day for the last 7 days, on average, I spent 8 hours and 42 minutes on my phone each day. Whew, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I said X got me in a chokehold. X, Twitter, chokehold for sure. And it's like, I could dial it down a little bit, but I'll get into that a little bit. So right now, my highest usage day was Monday for 9 hours and 51 minutes. I used X 20 hours last week, which is about 3 hours a day, which is kind of high. That's really high. I used YouTube for 15 hours, which is about 2 hours a day. And then Instagram for less than an hour a day. Wow. For only 5 hours and 46 minutes. All my social media has went strictly to Twitter. I picked up my phone on average 99 times, which is not bad. And my first used app after pickup is Mail. So, baby girl, what was your screen time like last week?
Last week, I spent on average 8 hours and 47 minutes on my phone per day, which is up 27% from the week before. My most used app is TikTok for 13 hours. Then Instagram for 8 hours. Messages for 6. Music for 5, YouTube for 2.5. And I picked up my phone on average 101 times per day. Gmail is normally the first app I use, then messages, then Instagram, then music. Oh my God, it's so terrible because TikTok is not on the top of my, it's not like I pick up my phone and go, how many times did I pick? Let's see how many times I actually picked up my phone and went to TikTok. That's weird. It doesn't even say it on here. That's notifications. I'm like, that's suspicious. Okay, 41 times, and I spent 13 hours on that app. I picked up Instagram 71 times. I spent 8 hours on that. There's that. So
another thing I just wanted to look at too. I wish they told you what time of the day you were on the apps. I was on my phone from 8 to 9 for 20 minutes, from 9 to 10 another 30 minutes. Then I'm mostly on Twitter in the morning from 8 o'clock to about 1 o'clock. I'm on my phone. Yeah, kind of a lot. Like I said, I already know that I'm using Twitter like a lot. Like I'm very aware of that. And then it says here from 9 to 10, I was on it for 43 minutes. That's the whole hour. I'm on my phone on one app. Just crazy. Now for the subscriber check. So we have not posted a vlog in 2 weeks. This is the most inconsistent I've been I think I've posted a vlog every week. I want to say 4 months, maybe 5 months. So missed 2 weeks. It's gonna go out tomorrow for sure. So y'all can watch it tomorrow, and this video will come out today at 6-ish. But for the subscriber check,
you gonna drop it on Christmas?
Of course. We are at 6,691 on our main channel, almost at 6,700. And on our candle channel, We are currently at 747 subscribers. And on Instagram, this is new. I know I haven't done this in a while. I'll tell you guys later why I'm doing this. On our Instagram, we are at 900 followers on Instagram. Almost at 1,000. We are 100 away from 1,000 followers on Instagram. Happy Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Hanukkah. If you worship the pagan holidays, if you into Jehovah's Witness, whatever you into, happy something. Okay. Enjoy spending time with your family, all that good stuff, whether you celebrating the holiday or not. So shout out to all of that. Tomorrow, me with my mom, my beautiful girlfriend, my cousin, stepdad. I'll be with my stepdad. So, feels kind of, I wouldn't say it feels weird being back, because I feel like we haven't done a podcast in a while. So, also, before we got to the podcast, I wanted to give a shout out to my guy, Jose, okay, out there in the trucking industry. You and your wife just got a candle, so shout out to y'all. And y'all probably don't even think about this, doesn't consider doesn't really cross your mind because you're not the one doing the recording. But I don't know what the feeling is. It's cool to know that people listen to the podcast. Like, it'll come up in different ways, like that DM or, from someone that might text me or someone might make a reference to the podcast. And I'm like, I know people watch it, but it's not like I'm talking to them every day. So, and I think it's kind of funny too, because I'll talk to people and they'll reference something about my life I haven't told them explicitly, which I think is fine, but it's just funny because I'm like, oh wow, like you heard it on the podcast. And it makes it easier to have conversations because it's like you already have context to most things that I'm talking about. So I find that to be really cool. But like I said, shout out to Jose. Y'all gonna love room service. Definitely a nighttime candle, okay, if you get what I'm saying. Or if you're having friends and family coming over. Ooh, is that a holiday set? That's like you know what? That is, it's not necessarily a Christmas candle per se. People watching is more Christmassy. However, I would say you can burn that for your dinner. After like your Christmas dinner. I think that's a good candle for that. So I'm excited for you guys to burn it. It's not even gonna be there today because of the holidays. So whenever y'all get it, go crazy. Let's see. So what has been going on the last week, man? Melissa and I definitely feel a lot better than we did last week. I haven't really been coughing that much, at least today and yesterday. How about you feel? Shit, Melissa's been a little coffee. I think she is about 2 days behind me. So I was coughing for like the last 2 days, like not today and yesterday, but the day before that I was coughing. She was still out of commission. So now she's finally feeling a little bit better, but has a little bit of a cough. So as far as the health goes, that's where we are at. If y'all listen to the live that we did on Sunday, then you will know that we got about 100 orders through the holiday gift program. So this entire week has been mostly trying to get those packaged and shipped out. We have about 60 of them already packed in boxes, and then we have another 30 some odd to go. And it definitely is. It's not hard. Like, even though it's 100 packages, I feel like it could, if we would try and expedite it, we could have got it out really quickly. But doing it definitely let me know what our capacity level actually is. And it's weird because you would think that when it comes to capacity of making candles, it's like, okay, how much time will it take to make X amount of candles? So if we have to make 500, what does that process look like? Do we have to melt the tops, put the wicks inside? How long does that take to prep them? And then we have the materials in terms of the amount of wax or the fragrance oil and things like that. One thing I did not think about until we started doing this semi-small order is the surface area in the house. We don't even have, if we were to get that amount of orders, we don't have enough place to just put the candle to pour it into. And I think that that's interesting to me because I had heard a quote somewhere before. It might have been from Alex to some degree, but it was along the lines of, you don't have to complicate your business because complexity comes with scale. So just in terms of trying to find a new way to make your business better, I feel like just growing, you have to make it better. Otherwise you don't grow is one thing. And then I think, and this is a big thing I've been kind of focusing on lately, and I'm not all the way into it yet. I'm still obviously getting to that point, but not focusing on competitors. Just strictly focusing on what I'm doing, because there's a million things for us to do. And if we accomplish all of those things, like if I sat down and said, okay, we have a candle company. We've done everything we could do. We set up bundles. We've done photography. We've had new scents. We've done collabs. We've done organic marketing. We've done paid ads. We are getting reviews. We're doing vlogs and everything else, right? And I said, okay, there's nothing else for me to do. Let me go look at Yankee Candle and see how they're running their ads, right? But what are the odds that we would be in a place where there's literally nothing to do at the company? There's almost, I would bet money that time would never come. But it's interesting because myself, and I'm assuming other people too, look at other companies to make themselves better. But there's a whole plate of things for us to do to make our company better, just us alone. So just looking at other, it's a funny thing, because innately you want to see what other people are doing, and I guess if they're progressing or not progressing, you want to see if they have any new type of tricks or things that they learn. But for the most part, boom, okay, I'll give you some examples for us, right? So CRO is something that we've been looking at a lot lately, and it stands for conversion rate optimization, right? You probably heard SEO, which is search engine optimization. This is CRO, which is conversion rate optimization. And conversion rate is how many people make a certain type of, do a certain kind of activity on your website, right? So you can kind of change what conversions are. You can make a conversion like a click or a sale or a purchase or whatever. But for me, a conversion is a sale. Anything that's not a sale, to me, is not a conversion. I don't look at it like that. So there are things you can do to make your conversion rate higher, right? And one of those things is adding the payment processor, like the ones that you use on your product page and I think in your cart. It adds more trustworthiness to your site. Now, I might go on different websites, or I did more of it before, and I would want to see what are other websites in the candle space doing to get conversions or to boost sales or whatever, right? But I don't know what their marketing is. I don't know what their goal is for their website. So I may look at them and say, okay, they're doing bundles of a big candle and a small candle, right? And I may go, you know what? I should do that too. Not knowing that our price points are very different. So them doing a bundle for the candle equates to just one of our candle sales. So they may have 3 candles they sell that come up to $65 or $50, something like that. And it's like, oh, okay, it doesn't, not saying I shouldn't do a bundle, but that isn't the kind of bundle I'll be looking at, because now bundling our candle might put the price at like $200-$300, something like that. So I think it's better when I look at Hotjar, right? Y'all familiar with that? If y'all don't know, I've said it before in the vlog. I might have hit it on here too. It records the sessions on our website, so I can go back and watch the sessions, and I think that gives me the most insight into what the customers actually want than going on someone else's website. Because I will go on the website, and I say this every time, and it's so crazy. If I go on Hotjar and watch videos, I am 100% gonna find something that I should change or update or fix or tweak or whatever. Every single time I might go to the page and realize that maybe one of the buttons don't work, or I might realize that one of the page links is broken. And when you click on it, it takes you to the wrong page, or people are scrolling around trying to find more information, and me trying to look at somebody's website doesn't help me with those problems. That's a huge thing that we've been looking at, and I want to get to a point where I'm 100% locked in. I'm like, I don't even look at people's candles. Like, I don't want to know what other candle people make, do, sell, create, nothing. I don't want to know them. I just literally want to be on what do the customer want from us? Can we do more of that and make it better? Let's just keep doing that and keep iterating on that. That's what I really want to get to. But, you know, I'm still human and we aren't at that phase yet. But I was bringing that up because the 100 orders thing. So right now it's us trying to figure out what is the best way to pack the candles, right? I even thought about buying some else's candle to figure it out, but we'll get, like I said, we'll get to a point where we don't look at it anymore. But one thing I said earlier, surface space. We don't have that much surface area, right? The quickness and how we can package the boxes, I think that might come up as an issue. I think having the amount of materials will be a big one too. Now, I told y'all maybe not last week, maybe the week before that an investor had reached out to us or her assistant and was thinking about investing into the candle company. So we're supposed to have a meeting probably next week. They said that they would send us something around this time of the year, closer to our actual meeting date, so that will stay fresh in our mind. I'm gonna listen. You gotta keep fresh in my mind. If you want to invest, I'm not gonna forget. Like, there's not gonna be an opportunity for me to be like, oh man, somebody wanted to invest in us, right? Didn't that happen? Like, nah, I'm gonna remember. So I'm still keeping my fingers crossed that turns into something of value, because I think we're in a very peculiar situation. So I'm gonna try and lay it out for you in terms of what we're looking at. Yeah, I know that we got the one-shot deal, which is pretty much a program that will pay all of our back rent, which is close to $50,000, right? Over the last, let's say $1,700 to $1,900 for the last 3 years or so. And they approved us for the loan. However, the payments is all messed up. They want us to pay $4,000 a month, which is crazy because we have to then also pay the rent for the building on top of that. So Melissa has to go over there and then try and renegotiate it, because I think they just put the wrong numbers in for our income, and they just assume, mathematically we probably make, I don't know, some crazy number, and they said we could just pay $4,000 a month. On the flip side, there is a contact that we met or have, or I guess I called, and now we kind of communicate a little bit. And she has a person that works, or that she's a referral to Homebase. Have you ever heard of that? And Homebase is a company that's in charge of the vouchers for other housing. So they can, let's say you have to pay $2,000 in rent, they may have it so that the voucher will only make you pay, $900 or something like that. So we need the trifecta. Like, we need to have the rent paid off, and we need to get the housing voucher. So that's where we're at right now, right? Now, the reason why I said it's peculiar is because about 3 months ago, Melissa had went to a court case, and they had said that by the end of the year is when they would what were they going to do?
If we don't pay by the end of the year, they're going to then start the eviction process or something.
Yeah, so I guess they would start the eviction process at that point, right? So for us right now is trying to figure out what will the next steps be. So we were considering where we would move to, what that would look like, and one of the names that came up was Delaware. Now, the reason it came up was because Melissa was kind of rattling off different names. She was like North Carolina, South Carolina. What else did you say?
I think I said.
Oh, you said Pennsylvania. You might have said Virginia or something like that. Yeah. And I'm just kind of like, some of those names sound too racist for me. The other ones sound kind of far. I'm like, I'm not in a position personally to want to uproot and move really far away just because everything is still not stable. I still rather be somewhat close. and Delaware is not that far away. And a big thing for me is that we do all of our fairs here in New York. And I think that if the outside of the fairs making money, I think they have been a great networking situation for us, because a lot of opportunities that we've had have come from people who have met at the craft fair and either told a friend or told their coworker or told their boss, or even use it for their own company or something like that. And I think that that's something that is very beneficial. So I still want to be somewhere close enough that we can still come over here to do certain events. So I feel like Delaware was a pretty close place. I've never really heard anything bad about Delaware. And I feel like it could be a very transient stop where we're there for a year, 6 months, something like that. Now, the only problem is trying to figure out how do we even afford to move to one of these places, right? The goal for this year was $500K, right? We are about $400K short of the $500K. And moving to another place, my thought process on it is, if we have enough money to pay for 6 months of rent or something like that, and we could probably do a short-term rental situation and then flip it into a long-term one on the back end once we've proven that we're going to pay rent. So that's kind of where my mindset is at when it comes to that. But a lot of that depends on what happens with the one-shot deal and what happens with the what is it called? The one-shot deal and the voucher, right? So we need to make a large lump sum of money. Now, I think December has definitely been good for us. We've had the holiday gift order. We've gotten some website orders, which have been pretty good. And the conversion rate has been pretty good too. So it's, we have a little bit of money. And then we had the $15,000 grant from a couple months ago. So all in all, we might have maybe like $5,000 roughly. Oh, another thing too. We actually got another grant that I forgot. I don't even know if I probably didn't tell you that. It just happened. So there was another grant that Melissa had applied for, and we got $2,500, right? So earlier in the year, I don't know if you remember this. I feel like it's been a long time ago, but it don't feel like it's been a long time ago, but I definitely feel like it's been a long time. If that makes sense. Like, I feel like we got the grant from them yesterday. Like the first one, the $1,500. I feel like, it was like a couple months ago. That was definitely like February that they gave us the $1,500. And with that $1,500, we had planned to go to do a whole bunch of markets. We were like, yo, what we gonna do $1,500? We can't really do it's not enough money to do anything. So we ended up buying labels. We had to pay like $100 a month or something like that towards that loan. So we had owed probably still like $900 roughly. And they gave us another loan. The first one wasn't really a marketing loan. The first one was like a regular, some type of loan. The second was a marketing loan. It was supposed to be a full $7,500. That's the amount of the marketing loan. But they gave it to us in draws of $2,500. So the first $2,500 we had used on ads. The second one we used on paying for the ad buying company. And then we were like, listen, we're not going to get any more because the monthly payments are getting out of line. One thing I've noticed from this year is I'm definitely anti-debt for sure. Like, I don't like it. I don't think it's beneficial. That's like, I say like 90% true. It's about how I feel, because my biggest issue with debt is the cash flow problem that presents itself. And I think that when it comes to, there's a game called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I think it executes very well in terms of what real life is. In the game, you have to get to the next level of life, which is having a bunch of money, right? And you're allowed to borrow as much money as you want to borrow. Like, there's no problem with you borrowing money. You could borrow up to $10 million, right? But it's such a weird thing, because you would think, okay, I have $10 million. I can pay for whatever loans or whatever debt I have, or buy whatever I want, right? But in the game, and same thing in life, when you borrow that money, you have to make payments on it, right? So you may get a $10 million loan in the game, maybe even in real life, And it may be fine until you find out that you have to pay $100,000 or $200,000 a month. Now you're really messed up, right? And you're like, well, I can use my $10 million and pay that off, which is what I've been in that scenario before too. The problem is you have to make the amount of money that you are paying off and that you are spending to run the business. So let's say that you want to get to a business that's making $100,000 a month, right? Let's say you start today, you have no money. I give you $10 million. You got to pay $100,000 a month. The business that you start has to make $100,000 a month just to cover the $10 million payments, right? The $100,000 a month payments. But then you have to also have the money to run the $100,000 a month business, right? And you have to also have the time to allow it to get to that point. So I think it's funny because we've borrowed money this year and even the year before that, and the money that we've been making, we might make $15,000 in a month. You might make almost $20,000 in a month. We might make $10,000 in a month or $5,000 in a month. But it's like we'll make that, right? And then it's eaten up by debt. Like almost every single month, it's like, okay, we have $3,000 that we have to our name. We're going to hold on to this and use it to grow the business. It's like, okay, we got to pay $500 here, $250 here, $250 there, $500 here, $700 here, $1,000 here. And then you're like, damn, I don't even have any money left. And then God forbid there's interest on top of that, because then it gets even worse. And that's something that when it comes to debt that I think this year has definitely instilled in me is approaching it differently. Like I said, I'm not off the debt train yet, for like leverage train, whatever you want to call it. I'm not off of it yet, but I'm like 98% on some nah. And I think it's funny too, because I watched a short recently with Dave Ramsey, who's anti-debt, and Graham Stephan. He had asked him, if someone said they will give you $1 billion loan, would you take it? And he said no. Now, he could have been being funny, right? 'Cause I didn't watch the whole clip, but I think the premise for him was like, I don't borrow money. And listen, people borrow money all the time. People who are rich borrow money all the time. But I think you don't really see the inside of what borrowing money looks like. Like I said, you have the payments, you have the interest, you have people asking you about it regularly. There's a lot of things that go into that. So for 2024, and even how we've been kind of moving the last month or two, the whole debt thing is going out the window. And the cash flow thing, because I think a big problem that we've had is like this year we've made $100,000, right? Maybe like give or take like $5,000, right? People have careers like after a graduate school that don't start at that. They may start at 75, 80K, 90K, but we made that this year. But we don't have anything to show for it because, one, it gets eaten up from all the debt that we have, and two, a lot of it goes back into running the business. And it's been very difficult in a sense of like I said, we can't grow the business without borrowing money, which sucks because we have living expenses. So we have living expenses, and then we have debt. So every time I think about just the math on it, it's so crazy. We could make $5,000, but 30% of that is going back into business, right? Just off top, just to rebuy what we paid for. But with that, you can't scale only buying what you paid for. So then you have to spend more money to be able to either get the cost down or to expand. So if we made $5,000, 30% of that is $1,500. So out of the $5,000, we're down to $3,500, right? It's like, okay, so now we have this money left. So the next thing we want to do is we want to pay for. Let me get some examples that we've experienced already. We might want to book a future craft fair, right? So with the $1,500, that only pays for the next month's craft fair if the dates are available. But we're like, we have to book a month ahead of that, right? So we might book a whole nother month. So for us, that might be another $1,700, right? So it's like minus $1,700. So right now we're $1,800, right? Then we have debt. So off top, I think I'm really lowballing here. I'm gonna say $1,200 in debt. So you got minus $1,200 in debt. We made $5,000, and right now we are at $600. So mind you, $5,000 a month is a $60K a year job. Right now we have $600 left. We have not even bought groceries or cat food or nothing. So like I said, that's the weird thing with it. It's like we would have to really like 20x the business to cover that debt, or we would need a very, very large lump sum of money, like $300K or $400K, something like that. Which is why I think the investor route is very appealing, just because it'll have that, hey, we just need money to be able to make decisions, to make good decisions, because it's very hard to make good decisions when you're broke, just because you're like, okay, I know I should probably pay for a photographer, right? I should pay for a photographer, but I have to eat, right? So like, do I skimp on the food or skimp on the photographer? Because it's not guaranteed, as we've seen, that the photographer will even do well. We have photographers who are hot pack ass, like just bad. So it's like, okay, we might spend money and that thing is gonna work out, and it doesn't. But now it's like, okay, the food that we would have eaten is gonna be trash. We're not gonna have to eat for that day. You know, y'all know how that's been in the last. It hasn't been like that really much lately because we got the food stamp thing. But last year, that was a whole thing in itself. So, like I said, it's just a very interesting thing, and this year has been very eye opening for me from that perspective. Like very eye opening from that perspective. And I think we'll go more into it when we have the live at the end of the year. We'll probably do it. Should we do it for the podcast, or should we do it for like the following day?
It's up to you.
So I'm like, it literally, the Sunday is the podcast and it's the last day of the year, and I'm like, I think I would probably go for the a podcast live on Sunday. I think that just makes it easier on us. So the other thing on the agenda that I want to talk about was, you guys know that we hire like a marketing team, right? And not a marketing team, I guess they just buy ads, and they pretty much are the people who choose where the ads go and how you retarget different people. Now, I had the guy that does $50K a month on just TikTok, by the way, on TikTok Shop, like not his regular business. He just does $50K a month on TikTok. And it's crazy because he was telling me that I shouldn't hire like an ads company, and his reasoning was that they're gonna put the ads on and you're gonna leave them alone. They're gonna leave you alone. You're not gonna hear from them again for like until the end of the month, right? And I was skeptical about it because our issue at the time was, how do we get more eyes on the website? Because I need to know what to fix, and I can't know what to fix until people come to the website and use it, and I can see like, okay, that's broken, that doesn't work, they don't like this, they don't like that. And his thing was to focus more on TikTok. So with that company, everything was, in my opinion, was going pretty well. It was like a month or two in, and you know, pretty good communication. If I had a problem, I can email them, they would respond back. This is logical positions, by the way, and everything was going great. I was learning, and then the contact that I had that worked there, like the guy who oversaw my account, he left. He decided that he wanted to work somewhere else. He said he had a better opportunity. It might have been a money thing. I forgot exactly what he said, but he ended up leaving. So I got a new guy, and I don't know if the new guy actually works there, like if he's new or if he's been working there for a while before he came to our account. But I'm ready to jump ship, right? And it's crazy to me because something as small as that can make you lose can make you lose clients or a company or whatever, just by losing a guy that was beneficial and was valuable to the company. And I'm ready to just not deal with him anymore because it's costing us a minimum of $1,700 a month. I think we've paid for 2 months so far, and since they hired a new guy, communication has been terrible, right? The other guy, if my ads like spending didn't like it stopped, let's say that I changed my card or something like that, he would let me know, hey, I want to let you know that the ads are not running right now. So, do you going to pay it today? Do you want to be able to pay it later in the week? Like, what's going on with the ads, right? The guy I have now don't say anything, right? And I was testing it to see what's going to happen. It's been it's probably been a week since the ad stopped running on Google, and he has not said a word to me. No one from there has said a word to me. It got to a point where I asked him a question and he never responded, and one of the higher ups had to get to me to answer my question because he never responded back. And I'm like, I'm done, because I want to focus more on organic content, because I don't know what the word for this is. I don't know how it is, what word it is. Maybe y'all heard of it before, y'all might know, but I think, I think Jeff Bezos said it very well in his interview with Lex Friedman when it comes to metrics, and I can't remember the exact term that he used for it, but I think he was saying like something about using a metric as a proxy. I think that's what he said. And the gist of it is that a lot of times people will really try to fixate on different metrics, right? On like the CRO, or like, which is your conversion rate optimization. They might try to focus on your return on ad spend. They might try to focus on maybe your speed score, or they might it's different things like that. Or they might focus on how many sites you have to, how many visitors you have to your site this month. And I think it's always funny because when you take a step back from it and you scale up, you realize that a lot of those metrics come from people, and you can try to fixate on a percent number a lot, but when you're focusing on the people, it blows all of the metric tricks out the water. So, for example, I have a couple. My first one is always Mr. Beast, and he used to be very fixated on analytics with YouTube, right? I'm pretty sure he probably still is to some degree, but I think what he realized is, if I want to get a lot of views, I have to come up with a video that people want to watch all the way through. Right? Like, that's how you get that is how you end up with a lot of views in a video, because people want to watch it. And it's like, you can do this weird thumbnail thing, or you could cut 6 times here, or you could yell in the beginning of the video, and it's like, all of that's cool, but if I don't want to watch this video, I'm not gonna watch this video. So if he had a video that said opening a box I found on the street, opening an empty box found on the street, right? That video would get far less views no matter what tricks he pulled up than if the video said, I met Michelle Obama's daughter and married her in a day. Right? People go, what? Nah, I gotta click this to see what he's talking about. The thumbnail could be a picture of you holding one of the daughter's hands, or a picture of you, a selfie with you and her, and that thumbnail would have a way higher click-through rate than a video about a guy opening a box. Because people want to see it automatically. So when you're looking at the analytics, you're like, okay, I want to figure out how do I make this thumbnail better. Okay, if I do this and I do that, it's like, well, do people even want to see this video in the first place? So I compare it to the website, right? Because we're running ads through Google, and I think that it's beneficial, but it's expensive for us right now. I've been playing with these math numbers for like the last couple of days, right? If you watch a lot of e-commerce website or videos, things like that, or mentors or in gurus or whatever, a big thing they talk about is your AOV, which stands for your average order value. So they always talk about getting that number up, right? And for us, our AOV or average order value is about $45 to $55 roughly. It might have went down like $10-15 recently. And our conversion rate is for this month 1.5%, right? So we've gotten 1,500 visitors to our website this month. We got 1,500 times 1.5%. That's 22 orders we've gotten this month, right? So if every order was $45 times 45, that's $1,012, right? But we spent $1,000 on ads. So that math doesn't math for us, right? So we have to change a couple of things. You have to either make the price higher, right? Or be able to drive more traffic to the website without having to pay for it. So for the next however long, I really want to focus on organic content, because the reason earlier I was talking about real life people stepping back is because if I can find a way to leverage social media properly in terms of TikTok or whatever, I can drive traffic to the website if it's good enough content, and it'll be very similar to Google Ads, right? And I think once I figure that out, then maybe we can run Google Ads. But right now it's very expensive. And if we have, like I said, roughly $5,000 in our account to be able to use, then I would rather us try to savor that than try to keep giving it to these people. Because I think they're at this point a waste of money to me. So I'm really much about to shut it off. And funny enough, they haven't been contacting me, but they charged me again, like either early or I think they charged me early. They charged me like 2 weeks early. So I'm like, listen, calling my bank, shut all this thing down. Everything's getting shut down. And I said that's kind of how I feel right now when it comes to the website. I really want to do the TikTok street interviews about the candles, and I want to see how receptive that is, how people feel about that in person and on TikTok. I'm curious if it'll be something that people like to watch. I think it'll come down to the questions that I ask. I think it'll come down to who I ask and kind of what their responses are. You guys know what time it is. Your favorite time of the podcast. It is the League of Villains. Yay! League of Villains. League of Villains. You said what?
There's no villains in here.
Oh.
Well, the only villain is Donovan, because he won't add me. Monopoly Go.
I did add you.
No, you did.
I did. You didn't see it?
You added me for real?
No.
Oh my goodness.
For my interview. Hello everyone, how are you doing? I am still a little sick, as you can hear from the coughing, but I am excited. So excited. What am I excited about? Honestly, y'all, I don't even freaking know. I can't really think past, oh my god, I don't want to think too much. There's a lot to do. What happened this week? I have a mentorship with a company called Accenture, which is pretty cool. They're a business consulting firm, and we actually won a pitch competition. Not the $15,000 one, but there was one earlier in the year, the first pitch competition that I did. That one we won $500 from, and that was through Accenture. They were the ones that paid us the $500. So it was kind of cool to work with them in this capacity. I actually didn't know they were a business consulting firm at first, so this is pretty cool. And I love the people that we have working with us. They have been so kind. I love the fact that I'm telling you, it goes such a far way to actually look at a person's thing that they do before having a conversation with them. It screams. And it's so interesting to me because as small as we are, people who are bigger than us also go through this too. Like, I was watching a clip on TikTok and Nicki Minaj, she was talking about like how I think she was going on the Breakfast Club and they didn't listen to the album or watch the video. Not even listen to the album, but just watch the music video that they were talking to her about. It's like, she's like, it's a 3-minute video. Like, the hell? And that's really just due diligence, just basic. Like, it would help you do your job right. It would help me, it would help us get further along in this conversation if you just knew what we're talking about. You feel me? So I love, and I will always appreciate, and I will always let people know that I appreciate that, so that more people can be that person. So shout out to Accenture for having some lovely people that do due diligence, having this conversation, and they're excited with me, which I love. Only thing that sucks is that because I've been focusing on getting these 100 orders out, I wasn't able to do what I wanted, which was, so pretty much they're helping me draft a email to the Container Store, and they gave me the information. I just haven't drafted the email yet, and I want to send them the email when I draft it to double check. So I'm holding up this process at this point. So it's Christmas Eve, so I'm probably not going to send it now, but that is something on the higher parts of my list. It's very hard for me to get admin work done if I have physical work to do. So what I mean by that is, like, if something has to go to the post office, if something needs to be packed, like if it's physical, it immediately like attacks our space, and it's in the line of sight. That is something I would prioritize, and also getting it out to the customers faster. So packages, candles that need to be shipped out are always number one for me. Number two is admin work, getting those, because once you send it out, it's done and it starts moving. So that's number two for me. And been on top of that, been filling out the grant applications, been filling out, there's just so much to do. I get overwhelmed thinking about it. As you can see, this is very stressful. You see me? Look, this is me. I'm like this with my eyes closed. Like, can you see my stress? Can you see it? There's 2 courses that I need to finish taking. Not 1, but 2. 1 course is on UX UI design. I'm still getting my certificate in that for multiple reasons. If you guys didn't know, I'm the head of R&D. Is that my title? I'm the head of R&D, research and development, especially when it comes to new products. And UX UI is not just like a technical thing. I feel like the concepts within it, I can also use when it comes to developing products for the brand and for the company. The other part of that, though, is being able to use the UX UI design. A part of that course is learning Figma. Figma is lit. Figma kind of helps you to create these very fluid, very particular like images or imagery that I think would do amazing on the website. Or like, I wouldn't use it because I understand there's a difference between UX UI and then if the web developer can actually bring it to fruition. Sometimes if they are able to bring it to fruition, it'll slow down the site. So the way that I see it is that I would use, it's kind of like what Manscaped does. If you ever checked out their website, they have videos embedded throughout their website that when you click on it, it pretty much shows a video of what to me looks like someone created on Figma. And they kind of have the best of both worlds, where it's available on the site to see. You could still be awed by it, but it doesn't actually slow down their site, or they don't use it functionally. And that's how I want to use it, where I think that I can either create like cool images and videos and post that on social media platforms, post it as an embedded video into the the website and not, have that functionality part, which I think is freaking awesome. So I'm excited for that. And that's one course that I have to finish. My deadline, I believe, is April, because after that it's no longer available. And then so I'm gonna double check on that. And I want to get the certificate for it too, so I can put that on LinkedIn, because they love asking, oh, what are your credentials as a founder? I founded the shit. That's my credentials. Thank you. But what's the other thing? Other courses on grant writing / pitch competitions. As you guys know, we love grants over here. As Donovan said, that we are not trying to do loans no more. The debt that we have is the debt that we gonna have, and we ain't really trying to add more debt on top of that. For me personally, the investor route does not look as enticing to me. I think it all comes down to the terms. If the terms are favorable, that's always better. But I would prefer, I guess, to kind of stay away from that until I learn more about like what is expected or whatever. But like I said, that's more negotiations and figuring that side out. For me personally, I really like crowdfunding, and I like grants. So I really want to do a Kickstarter or something like that, because we've done Kiva, which is crowdfunding, but Kiva is a crowdfunded loan. Honeycomb would have been a crowdfunded loan. No, we ain't doing those. So I really want to do Kickstarter. I really want to put my best foot into it, like my my best foot forward in it. And I also think that by completing the course and learning how to use Figma and create those great grand imagery and videos, I think that would help our Kickstarter. So that's kind of the hierarchy of like what I see things need to be done. It would definitely be Figma first, or like the UX UI design course first, because that would help to enhance the other things that we have going on. The grant writing is still pretty high up there too, though, because grants come and go like this. There's 10K here, 20K there, 30K there. Like it's always grants going on. And I feel like that's something that we could leverage if I knew how to answer the questions the way that they want, all that stuff. Excuse me. But I'm confident. I do think that I feel like we should be able to raise 150K on Kickstarter, because we've already made 100K and we already have a business. We already have like credentials, as opposed to a lot of other businesses on Kickstarter, which is just an idea, and they be giving ideas money left and right. So if we already have a product, we already have an email list, but you're helping us to further develop it, I feel like that could be a very compelling Kickstarter for people to give money to. So I do have high hopes that we can make 150K on there. But I will say that I think they said the most a candle company has done on Kickstarter is probably like 50K. But, like I said, we have the credentials to back it up. So I'm excited to see how that goes. There's also different companies now that are out here that market Kickstarters, which is crazy. So, and Kickstarter actually has a direct partnership with one of them, and has statistics on how they have increased the time, like decrease the time limit that it takes for different campaigns to fund, how they've helped many campaigns hit 100%. So I'm very interested in seeing how that works and all of that stuff. So that's big picture for me. I also know that Donovan wants me to focus on designing a lot of things for the website, which is very fun to do. So I'm excited. I feel like my life is kind of like, if it wasn't for, the impending eviction, it feels very fulfilling. I know what to do every day. I'm excited to get started. I'm excited to get the things done. And I know that this period of sickness that we just had, it feels like it was a forced rest. It was a forced stop. And once like we not even done being sick for real, but these candles, they're still getting packed. When we're the ones packing them, like the work is still getting done. So I'm just excited to be able to go full force whenever, you know, whenever these packages are out. Like we can really start making that content, the posting on seeing the analytics, seeing what's gonna come from it. So is there anything that I missed? Well, that's all I have to say. Merry, happy Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa for y'all. Happy holidays. I want a sandwich. You want to sit down? No, you don't want sandwiches.
I don't want sandwiches. I'll take a sandwich.
I have rice.
The next topic I wanted to bring up was the house, because shout out to my guy, Rich Paul. He had asked, or Sterling Paul, he had asked about the house. I thought we were pretty clear about the house. There is no update with the house, guy. I really have no clue what condition the house is in. I have not gotten a phone call about the house. I have not gotten an email about the house. I have not gotten a text about the house. I don't know if the house is still even standing at this point. I don't know if somebody bought the house. I don't know if we still own the house. I have no idea what's happening with the house. The house it was a crazy situation that happened, and honestly, I try not to think about it just because of how unfortunate it was. Like, the fact that we did all that work to get the house to where it was, to finally be ready to be bought, and then it gets broken into, and the market crashed. Like, they changed interest rates like the following week. Like, after all the time, the housing rates numbers have been amazing, 2%, 3%, 4%, whatever. As soon as we're like, okay, guys, we're done, the house is complete, we're doing showings, everything is going great, boom. I don't think we did showings yet. It was just like, nope, market rate, interest rate now 9%, 10%, 11%. Everybody started to go, oh, I'm not buying a house, now I gotta wait. And it's like, bro. And then the crazy part is, I was trying to explain this to my aunt, where it's like, everything is made up. All the housing prices are all made up. There's no real backing to the housing price other than whatever you come up with in your head, right? Or pretty much whatever other people are buying in the area, whatever they're paying for it. So for us, we bought the house. When we bought the house, we bought it for $116,000. At the time, the resale value was $270,000. As we were renovating the house, it went up to about $300 to $315 roughly. We got an appraisal. They said it was about $300 to like $320. We were like, okay, this is going good. So we're thinking, at the worst case scenario, we'll sell the house for like $270, $280. That's what we're thinking, right? Worst case scenario, because the appraisal came back at a high number. There are other people have sold the house in the area for like $300, $290 and so. So we're thinking, okay, we'll be in that ballpark. Once the house was finished, the market had already told us the house at the maximum is $270. That's when the house is completely brand new house. After we finished it is $270, right? We're like, okay, that's kind of where we were starting at, right? But now the problem is, because they changed the interest rates, all the people are like, I don't want to buy right now because I think the numbers are going to come back down and I don't want to overspend. So now the house is just sitting. Now they want us to pay more money towards the monthly payments for the house, right? At this point, there's no light in sight. Numbers going down, people numbers going down. And I think we were all into the house for maybe about $230, $240, something like that. So at $270, we might have just made out with like $10,000, $15,000. Maybe, right? So that was when the house was brand spanking new. The house has been broken into multiple times. This one also died in the front. The last offer we were getting on the house was probably like 190, 180, and that was when the house was, I think the first break-in, I think it was. And they were like, okay, we'll pay 190. No, honestly, that wasn't. That was before they found out that the house was broken into. We were getting offers between 190 and 210, right? Once the house was broken into, the house value is completely gone. There's no sink in the kitchen. There's no counters anymore. There's no cabinets. There's no bathroom sink. There's no downstairs or upstairs. The dehumidifier was taken. There's holes in the wall. People were living in the house, so I don't know what they might have done in the house. Other things might have been damaged. So the value of the house now is basically the same as when we bought it. Give or take maybe $20,000. So let's say we sell it for $116,000 or $130,000, right? All that's gonna do, all that's gonna cover. Honestly, it wouldn't even cover that. But all it would, we couldn't. The loan itself, the renovation loan was 75 plus the 116. So all in all, it was like 167 for the entire loan amount because they had to account for the money we put into it, like the down payment. So all in all, 167. We were getting offers at 190 to 200 when the house was fully completed, when it was brand new. So if we're not getting at least 167, the house is worthless. We don't get anything out of it. No one gets anything from the house. So for any, people who are asking about the house, there is no house. Just in your mind, say their house doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't, just wipe it clear because there's nothing to do with the house. The only silver lining, which is, when I say silver, I mean it's so thin that you can't even really see it, is if we got super rich in the next 6 months and we had enough money that we wanted to just for content buy the house or fix it up just to say that we still have it. That's the only way that we would still have the house. That's the only way. If we in the next 6 months we made, and it wouldn't be $500K. It's not enough. We'd have to make several $1 million in the next 6 months for us to be like, you know what? I'm going to go buy that house back. Because other than that, it would make more sense to pay off the people that loaned us money for the house than it would be to buy the house back. Or even fix it up, right? And try to sell it. Like I said, having a house, buying it would just literally be for content. There would be no other reason to buy the house other than that. So there's literally, unless you guys have another idea, and I've been open to all the ideas people have had about the house. You want to try and wholesale it, you want to try and call a government to buy it, you want to try and do an Airbnb, all the different things. That's all cool, but now the house, like I said, has been not lived in for over a year at this point. Not even not lived. We renovated the house a year ago in August, so it's been a year and about 4 months since since the house has even been done anything to it. So I'm just saying, if you got some ideas, if you got some pull a rabbit out of a hat, I'm all ears. But at this point, for anybody wondering about the house, who is still wondering, shout out to my guy Sterling, the house saga is complete. It's done. There is no more. That chapter is closed. There's nothing else to do. Unless, like I said, that's the only way. If we got super rich and we bought the house back. Yeah, so wanted to remind you guys. So next week is going to be the live. We're going to be just kind of talking about what the plan is for 2024. Just kind of reflecting on 2023. We'll probably watch some of the videos, like the video that we made last year about, in the beginning of the year. That's kind of thing that we do, is kind of see how we felt in the beginning of the year and then how we feel now. What our plan will be. Even Melissa kind of had mentioned it. I think she was talking to her friends maybe, or she was talking to me about having New Year's resolutions. I don't really have any, to be honest. New Year's goals, I don't have any. Do you have anything on your mind?
This is it.
Okay.
This is the year we figure it out, or we get jobs.
Okay. Oh.
And that is what it is.
Listen, that crossed my mind too. I thought about that. I was like, listen, I'm like, if 2024 comes and we are not living strictly off the candles, and if not paid off all the debt or paid off most of the debt,
right? Like or
have a plan where we're
right, like a viable way,
right? Something like that. It'll be time to start looking at employment. Like, okay, where can I need to have money coming in? If 2020, that is the goal. That's literally it. Is figure out a way to make it work, because
I can't live like this.
Right. I'm not really sure what I said, because we're in a very odd space where the candle company is getting bigger than our apartment. We can't move out because of things prior to this. Like, that's where we're at. We're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like, the candle company would have to make literally like $500,000 for us to be like, okay, let's start making moves. Like, that's really what it has to be, because we still owe money. And as soon as we start paying like a good amount of money, because this was funny, we're paying like a little over $1,000 in debt right now to people, right? Maybe like $1,500. There are a lot of people who are not getting paid. So the minute that we start making some money, it's going to go to them. So it's like, once we get to like $20K a month, we're going to have to be paying people like $4,000 a month or something like that. Right? So it's like, even at $20K a month, we still are going to be having to pay thousands of dollars to people for the money that we borrow for the house and other things. So we would have, like I said, we'd have to get to $50K a month for us to be like, okay, this is now like, we can make a decision with this. So I guess that would be my only goal for the year, is to have a $50K a month. That's my only goal. With you, what's the face mean?
I'm thinking of how I would quantify my goal. I don't really know how I would quantify it, other than like this is it. Like, if this year comes by and we are not living like normal humans,
living like Larry,
I cannot.
Listen,
this is it.
I feel that. I think what I would do for this year, when it comes to if I'm gonna make goals, it'll be significantly smaller goals. I haven't really tried that before. Like, I've done like the kind of weekly type of thing for a little bit, but I think I'm not gonna have a big goal. I'm gonna just, like I said, I tried it, see how it works, see what happened, and we got more debt. So I'm like, okay, let me try something else. Let's try the pebble route, the little baby route. We're gonna try one step at a time. We're not focusing on nothing else big, not even $50K a month. We just hire someone to do emails. Can you do that, Donovan? Can you do that? I can do that. Okay, now do the photography for the candles. I could do that. I could do that one. I could do that. Okay, next, Donovan, I want you to make content for the candles. Can you do that? Yeah, I could do that. That's it. Stop thinking $500 to $1 trillion. You do that first, and then let's figure out from there. Because I think, like I said, each year has been me testing out these different theories. And I think I said on here before, for sure, buying the house was a theory. Didn't work out. Hitting 500K was a theory / test. Didn't work out. Okay, let's try this other one. It's the only one I don't be doing. I don't be doing this one. I don't do the like think very small and minuscule. I don't even live like that. So, but I am willing to give anything a try. So I will try it, and we will see if it works. Because I don't know. It might not work either. I might say, listen, guys, the goal is to get a job. The plan, if you don't have a job, is not gonna work. Right? That could be. I might at the end of the year of 2024. I might say that. Who knows? But as it stands right now, I'm still anti-job for myself. Right? But I am willing to take smaller steps, and we will see what progress we have. So until next week, live, we will see y'all. Probably be. Listen, y'all can comment a time that y'all think. I'll check the analytics, see what time is best for y'all too. But it's New Year's Day, so maybe y'all gonna be out. So should I do it January 1st? I don't want to do 2, to be honest with y'all. I really don't want to do. I don't want to do a live and then a podcast and a live the next day. I think cause y'all gonna be, I think probably earlier in the day. I think like maybe like 4 o'clock. Cause y'all not really at, nobody's going to no party at 4 o'clock for New Year's, right? That's weird. Like, why would y'all be doing that? I feel like if y'all,
You don't party New Year's Day. New Year's Day is just hungover.
what do you mean? New Year's Eve, December 31st. No, December 31st is Sunday. So I'm like, I figure we could do the podcast, the vlog or whatever, like 4 o'clock to like maybe 7 o'clock or something like that. And then y'all can go hang out and go to parties. I feel like nobody's going to party at like 7. Or maybe, you know, that's my thought. What do you think?
You getting ready.
Right, that's a figure. So I get ready at like 7. So by that time, you already, like, we already done. Like, you're not getting ready at 4, right?
Yeah, depends what you want.
So, but yes, it was fun. And listen, the end of the year, we did not make it at 500K. We still got 7 days left. Who knows? We might get a big order between now and next week. You never know. But until then, until the last day and the fat lady has sung, the road to 500K. Okay? Bamboo Project out.